Hello everyone and welcome inside the Rogers Center for the 5th game of the Blue Jays season, and of course the Cincinnati Reds coming to town today for some interleague play between the Blue Jays, who are 4-0, and the Reds, who are 2-1. We thank you for joining us today on the Virtual Jays Network. My name is Jackson Farough. I'm joined in the broadcast booth by Drew Frank, and Trent Thornton will make his first start of the season this year against the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, Thornton here is going to have an opportunity to keep things going for the Toronto Blue Jays pitching staff that has started the season very strong. After Ryu set the tone with a win on opening day, all 4 pitchers we've seen so far have looked great, and Thornton's trying to be the 5th man in this rotation to go out and put in a quality start for the Jays.
And here's his first pitch of 2020, a fouled off pitch to Nick Castellanos, who comes over to the Cincinnati Reds this offseason on a 4-year, $64 million deal. He sure cashed in free agency. Spent the majority of his career with the Tigers, but also a little bit with the Cubs last season. As he drills that one to deep right center field, that'll drop. Teoscar Hernandez over to get it. Castellanos should cruise into second for a leadoff double here.
And Castellanos, not the traditional leadoff hitter that a lot of teams used to employ, where they're quick with not much power, but just a contact guy. Castellanos can bring the power, especially into the gaps. There's a double for him. That fits what he's been doing for the past couple years. Last year, he put up 21 doubles in just 51 games with the Cubs and 58 across the whole 2019 campaign.
And at least 20 home runs in each of his last 3 seasons. So it's definitely some consistent power there to build off of for the 28-year-old. But now, Jesse Winker at the plate, DHing today in the number 2 hole. He's hitting .273 through 3 games this year as Thornton delivers that strike in there. 1-1 count. Winker, a first-round pick in 2012 out of high school. And Winker has some good splits against righties and lefties as he takes that ball there.
Well, as a lefty power bat, he hits righties a whole lot better than lefties throughout his career. The numbers are quite telling. Against righties, he's hitting a massive .307. Against lefties, only .167. So a big difference there.
And that explains a lot of why he's in the lineup today, even as a DH, normally playing in the outfield. But the Reds sure want his bat. And there's a special man, Joey Votto, on deck, the Canadian, and lots of people buying tickets for this game for that very reason. And he'll be up next. Here's the 3-1 pitch now. And that one's fouled off past the third base line. A full count now.
Winker and the Reds both get to take advantage of the DH slot that they have available. Not too common for an NL team, but here visiting the AL, they'll get that opportunity.
And that one swung out over the third base side. Guerrero is there, fields and throws. 1 away now. And the Reds in interleague play, and they've, last time we saw them was in May of 2017, in which the Jays swept that series here in Toronto. But a very special man coming up to the plate, Etobicoke native Joey Votto. He's a 2010 MVP. He's got a gold glove to his name as well. He's 36 years old now, and he's signed through 2023, but the staple of Canadian baseball in many ways is he takes a first pitch strike from Trent Thornton.
When you saw the batting average on the screen, Farough started the season off well, as of most of the Reds. Very offensively heavy games in their first series against the Cardinals. The Reds won 2 of 3 at home, so they had their home opener, which they won. Split the next 2 games, a lot of high-scoring games, 8-2. Then they lost 9-7 and then put up 7 more runs in the third game. So 8 runs scored, 7 runs scored, and 7 runs scored. This is a lineup that can really hit.
And they sure can. Let's see if Farough can continue that here as he takes that pitch just outside. It's a 2-1 count. Excellent plate vision from the Canadian there. And Farough, there was speculation back in 2015 that then GM Alex Anthopoulos of the Blue Jays would maybe try to make a deal for Farough to add to all the hitters he added in that time, Donaldson and Tulowitzki, among others. But it never really happened. Lots of moving parts there. 2-2 count to Farough now. And that one is swung and missed upon. Excellent off-speed pitch there from Trent Thornton. And that's his first strikeout of the season on the Canadian.
Thornton, a great mix there. Gets Farough to go down and chase a ball. Maybe right at the knees, but could have been called either way probably. Farough goes down, swings and misses. And now there's 2 down here as Thornton settles in nicely after the leadoff double.
Yeah, you're right about that. He has done a good job of just kind of, not letting it phase him and just keep on working. And there's got Eugenio Suarez, who grounds that one over to second. And the play will be thrown over to first. Excellent job there by Joe Panik, making his first start with the Blue Jays. And we head to the bottom of the first. It remains tied 0-0 here at Rogers Center. Welcome back, and now we see a former Jays prospect, Anthony Desclafani, making his first start of the season for the Reds today.
He had a very strong 2019. You can see a sub-4 ERA for him. Pitched a full season at 31 starts. He's got a nice repertoire that's highlighted by a hard fastball. He'll sit around 95, 96, and he can ramp that one up with quite some heat for a starting pitcher. Complements that with a complete repertoire, including a couple breaking balls, a knuckle curve, and a slider, and a changeup. He can cut his fastball as well towards right-handed hitters with a 2-seam action if he needs to.
As Bichette fouls that first pitch off past the third base side. Bo Bichette really struggling to start the season. 0 for 4 yesterday, just a .067 average in the leadoff position. He's played every game at shortstop to start the year. And slow starts in baseball are a little bit different because there's so many games throughout the season as that pitch misses there, 1-1 count. But, in the leadoff hole, you need more production from a guy like Bichette early on here.
And it's telling that Montoyo's got him back there again because he ran the lineup the exact same the first 4 games. But tonight there's been a lot of changes. One of the steadying presences is Bichette's back in leadoff, but we see Grichuk moved up all the way to the 3 hole as Lourdes Gurriel gets the day off. And with Shaw sitting out, Hernandez slides up to the 5 hole. And Drury as well moves up to the 6 hole after starting the first few games down at number 8.
Yeah, and Grichuk in the 3 hole definitely being rewarded for his good start to the year. Bichette grounds that one over to the shortstop. And Galvis tries to make the play, but it goes underneath him, and Bichette will reach on an infield single.
Galvis is a guy known for his glove. He's been around the league to a handful of places. He was here in Toronto last year, so this stadium's one he's familiar with, as well as the infield dirt. He lays out and keeps it in front of him, but unable to get Bichette. Even if he would have maybe blocked it and tried to pick it up and made a throw, Bichette's got enough speed to get him there in time.
And now Kevin Biggio hitting second once again today, but this time playing first base. He's usually playing second, but moves over today so that Joe Panik can enter the lineup at second. But Kevin Biggio, a really good start to his season, and he starts his count 0-1 now.
He struggled yesterday, with a trio of strikeouts, all of them swinging, but after the night off, now back here for another night game, he worked on his swing during batting practice, and now facing a righty, he'll have a chance to try and hone what he had going for him on Saturday.
And a good opportunity for him against a righty as he takes that pitch outside. It's a 2-2 count now. Desclafani trying to work around a a leadoff single here. With Bichette on the base pass now, do you think he tries to maybe steal, or at least, with a healthy leadoff here? That was drilled over to deep left field. And that one is caught. Castellanos makes the play there in left.
You see Bichette retreating to first there. This is one of the few times he's actually reached base so far this season, so we haven't seen if he's going to look to implement more speed or what his approach will be, because you mentioned his batting average a measly 125 so far, and that's including the single he just had now. So this is one of his first real chances, and if he wants to start off with a bit more stealing this season, this will be an opportunity for him to start that trend.
As Randall Grichuk steps in, the number 3 hitter today. He's had a great start to the season, an 857 OPS and a 357 average with an RBI. And once again, playing center field. He's done a good job there thus far this season.
And bumped up from the 7 spot. He struggled a little bit yesterday. He struck out all 3 times he came to the plate, but the first 3 games he looked really good, and that's why he's been moved up.
As he takes that pitch outside as well. Looked like a slider. It's a 3-0 count now. With Vlad Guerrero Jr. on deck, Grichuk will most likely be taking here. And he does. That pitch gets in there for a strike. 3-1 count now. And one away. We'll see if Bichette maybe moves as Grichuk checks his swing on that, but it was in the zone anyways. A full count now. Desclafani clawing his way back in this at-bat.
Well, and keep an eye on Bichette here. If he was going to run, now would be a good opportunity.
Let's see what he does. Here's the pitch. That one swung on, drilled, but foul past the third base line.
Grichuk out a little too far in front of that changeup, but managed to rip that one quite hard foul.
And a pretty good battle now. Here's the 7th pitch of the at-bat. That one is high for a walk. So we will see first and second, just one away. Now for Vlad Guerrero Jr. playing third base once again today, hitting .364 on the year. He's got a home run, and he's on a 4. He's hit in every single game to start this season.
And in the last game we saw, he got his first home run of the year, an absolute missile to left center field, and that ended up putting the first run on the board for the Jays in a game they ended up winning.
Yeah, and that was a massive home run as well to kind of, put the Blue Jays out in front and give them that confidence to finish off that series. And what a series that was. Sweeping the Red Sox, a team that came in here and you thought, okay, maybe they split this. Maybe, if you're a Blue Jays fan. But instead, they go ahead and sweep it all. What pitching and some timely hitting as well in that series for the Blue Jays.
Lots of good signs from the Jays. You mentioned the pitching. A lot of unknowns there. Everyone showed up, and then guys like Drury and Jansen you didn't expect were major offensive contributors.
Here's the 0-2. That one high and inside of Guerrero. 1-2 count now. Desclafani, here's his 20th pitch of the game already. Guerrero Jr. pops that one up right around the mound. The first baseman Votto gets in there and makes the play. It'll be 2 away now as Desclafani tries to keep runs off the board in this first inning of work here.
And that was a breaking ball that caught a whole lot of the plate. That was almost middle, and Guerrero knew that was a pitch he could hit and took a big hack on it, but just got underneath it and popped it up.
And now Teoscar Hernandez playing right field once again for the Blue Jays today, now in the 5-hole as he hits that one over past the shortstop Galvis. It'll get into the field, and all of a sudden, the bases are loaded here in Toronto with 2 away.
And it'll be Drury up next, too. As we mentioned, it was promoted all the way down from the 8th spot, up now batting in the 6th hole, so he's going to get a chance here in the bottom of the first here to try and strike first for the Blue Jays.
And Hernandez with a good job there, just poking that ball right through the hole between the third baseman and the shortstop, as Brandon Drury, the designated hitter, once again today, hitting now. He's been moved a little bit up in the lineup. He was hitting 8 primarily in the Boston series, but moved up to number 6. He's had a great start to the season as well. Here's the pitch. That one just just sneaks in the upper part of the plate. An 0-2 count now. Desclafani trying to get out of this inning.
Drury falling behind quickly. And now we mentioned Desclafani's got a wide repertoire, and he can go with almost any pitch he wants here now, ahead 0-2.
And we'll see what he decides here. 0-2 now. Barnhart sets up inside. That one's hit over to first. Votto fields and steps on the bag. And so Desclafani and the Reds escape an inning in which the Blue Jays loaded the bases. It remains 0-0 as we head to the second inning on the virtual Jays Network. Well, everyone, welcome back. Jackson Farough alongside Drew Frank calling this one on the virtual Jays Network. It remains a 0-0 game here early in the game. And top of the second of a 3-game set between the Cincinnati Reds and the Toronto Blue Jays. This is the first game of that 3-game set. And we'll see Mike Moustakas coming over on a 4-year, $64 million deal this past offseason.
And if he's looking for extra motivation, there's a report from MLB's John Heyman that the Jays offered Moustakas 3 years at $30 million, which many perceive to be a lowball offer considering, as you mentioned, he got $64 million from the Reds. So if he saw that as a potential insult, now he's primed in the 3-0 hitters count to try and do some damage and make a point.
Yeah, and he's certainly got some power as he takes that strike in there from Thornton. It's a 3-1 count, but... yeah, you make a good point about Moustakas choosing the Reds over the Blue Jays, and money was probably a factor. And there it is. There's some revenge. It's a dish best served cold. If it's fair, it's gone. And that one is foul. Wow, he dropped his bat on that. He sure wanted that one to be out of here.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was gone off the bat, too. The sound it made just popped throughout the whole stadium. Thornton gets a little lucky as that one hooks just foul, but I'll tell you what, he almost touched some mesh out there.
Guess we hold off on the revenge talk for now as that one's grounded over to Biggio, makes the play field, and Moustakas is retired after a very eventful at-bat, to say the least.
Biggio over at first base. He only played 8 games there last year. He played some first base during the spring and worked on it there because now with him at first base, that'll let Joe Panik enter the lineup. Panik playing second base and making his first appearance as a Jay.
And now Aristides Aquino steps into the box, a power-hitting right fielder in his second season in the Bigs now. Hey, number 6 today. He drives that one to deep left field, flips his bat. Will that one go fair? Oh, it sure will. That one is out of here. 410 feet to deep left. Aquino with his first home run of the year. It's 1-0 Reds.
That one was hit even harder than the Moustakas one. The Moustakas one was crushed, but this Aquino one had the height and it had the distance, and right away you knew that one was leaving the yard. That's the profile on Aquino, though. If he makes contact, he's got the strength, and look at this one fly. 410 feet, 109 mile an hour off the bat, an absolute missile. And Thornton, well, he's got through the first clean. 2 very hard pieces of contact might be showing that he's leaving balls over the plate a little too much so far tonight.
Yeah, and a really good season for Aquino last year, and put up 19 home runs in his rookie year along with an 891 OPS. And he delivers there, putting the Reds in front 1-0 here as Mark Payton steps into the box. He was a 7th-round pick in 2014. Now, Mark Payton, very interesting. He's been drafted 3 different times as he fouls that one past the first base side, and drafted twice in the Rule 5 draft. So he's technically been drafted 5 different times, but he seems to have found a home for now in the majors with the Cincinnati Reds as he flies that one out to center. Richick is underneath it, and he'll make the play 2 away now.
Payton in his first season in the majors. After all that, bouncing around through different organizations and different teams throughout the minors at various levels, he's getting his first chance here with Cincinnati. And last year, what warranted him this job is he put up 30 home runs in just 118 games in AAA. So he can hit, and they're taking a chance with him.
It'll be very fascinating to see what a guy like him can do, as you mentioned, in his very first season in the Bigs. Now, Freddie Galvis, former Blue Jay, in the 8-hole today and playing shortstop. Takes that pitch in there. It's an 0-2 count all of a sudden, as Thornton is 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Here's the pitch. That one's delivered. Galvis pops it up. Reese McGuire catching today. Takes off his mask, and he'll have to just stand in place and make the catch. So Aristides Aquino delivers a bomb, his first of the season, to deep left field. It goes in the 200s, makes it 1-0 Cincinnati at Rogers Center. And welcome back. Jackson Farough alongside Drew Frank calling this one Cincinnati versus Toronto. It's 1-0 Reds in the first game of this three-game set in Toronto as Anthony Desclafani deals his 25th pitch of the game to Derek Fisher, making his very first start of the season in left field today for Toronto.
Yeah, Fisher's going to start the trio of lefties here to greet Desclafani, all of them making their first start of the year. It's Fisher followed by McGuire and Panic. And Fisher gets in here playing left field as Gurriel gets the day off after struggling against the Boston in the first series. So Fisher, the fourth outfielder for the team, is going to get his first look here.
And he allows that off-speed pitch to go below the zone. It's a 3-0 count. Good count now for Fisher, who's got some speed. He's got a decent glove. Comes over from Houston in the big Aaron Sanchez, Joe Biagini deal last summer. What does Fisher bring other than just his defense as he walks there?
You mentioned the speed, but I think what it is that intrigued this Blue Jays front office to go out and get him is the power that he has in his bat, because he's not necessarily built like the biggest guy, but he's got those advanced metrics that really show some potential there. The launch angle he has is quite optimized, and if he can make contact, because of that, he drills balls a bit harder than the average swing might. So they just look at the profile he brings and feel that if you can tune it up a bit, they might have a nice starting outfielder in him.
And now Reese McGuire steps to the plate, hitting number 8 today. As you mentioned, Drew, he's making his first start of the season, a catcher. And what's interesting about McGuire, still only 25, and he's in a real battle for time here with Danny Jansen. He grounds that one over to second, makes the play, goes, Galvis gets it at second, throws to first, Votto not in time. Still a good effort by the Reds there as Moustakas started that play, made a really good toss to Galvis at second, but Reese McGuire able to outrun that one.
Nice hustle there by the catcher. That ball wasn't hit very hard at all to second base. So even though Galvis threw a nice strong throw to first base after receiving the flip, the fact it took so long to get second allowed McGuire to beat that out.
And infield defense should be fascinating for the Reds this season. They've kind of rebuilt that a little bit with, the addition of Freddie Galvis last season and now Mike Moustakas. Nick Castellanos can play in the infield. It'd be interesting to see what they do defensively as the season goes on. But now Joe Panic, speaking of infield defense, playing second base for the Blue Jays today. And, he's a World Series champion. He's a former All-Star, Gold Glover. This is a guy who has a pretty good resume.
He's going to be fighting with time. Oh, and he's off and running.
And there it is. And McGuire's easily tagged out there. Not even really a discussion. Galvis could have had a cup of coffee waiting for him there.
Clearly a missed hit and run. Panic expands the zone and swings and misses at the high fastball, just trying to make contact with the sign on. And as you mentioned, McGuire's hung out to dry. Nothing he can do there.
Yeah, now a 1-2 count to Joe Panic, who will try to salvage this inning for the Blue Jays. That one's inside, and it's a 2-2 count now. But back to Joe Panic, this is a guy who has some serious experience, especially, as a guy who came into the league pretty young and got an opportunity. He was a first-round pick with the Giants, a prospect coming up. And, what's the biggest value with Joe Panic in his addition to this team?
I think it's going to be partially what he can teach Kevin Biggio at second base. They're going to be competing for time, but Biggio is more of the guy that's here for the future. And similar build, similar profile, Panic is almost a mentor of sorts for him.
As he fouls that one off, it remains a 2-2 count. I agree with you on that, Drew, and I'd also add, I think, with Panic coming over, what he does is he, not just with Biggio, but this whole team, right? Like, he's a guy who's been there and done that. He's won a World Series, he's won a Gold Glove, he's gone to the All-Star game, especially early on in his career, so he can sit back and kind of relate to these young guys. I think that would matter, especially when you take a look at his resume, as I mentioned. And he swings through that one there, and he strikes out as Desclafani gets out of the inning clean after allowing a leadoff walk to Fisher. And we'll go now to the third inning. It remains 1-0 Cincinnati here in Toronto. Welcome back to the Virtual Jays Network. It's 1-0 Reds in the top of the third inning as Tucker Barnhart steps into the box. Hit 11 home runs last year for the Reds. He's a catcher, a pretty good one. Won the Gold Glove in 2017 with the Reds. Takes that first pitch strike.
And Barnhart spent his whole career with the Reds, joining the team in 2014 as a 23-year-old, and he spent the last 6 years here, now in his 7th year with them, and he's been a steady presence behind the plate, mostly, as he mentioned, as a defensive first catcher.
And coming off that Gold Glove, he got a nice big contract, 4 years, $16 million through 2021. So, some insurance, a catcher for the Reds, some reliability, I think. It's an 0-2 count. Oh, and it hits him right on the numbers there. Trent Thornton losing that pitch, and an 0-2 count turns into a walk here to lead off the third inning.
Well, it's tough to lose someone that you get ahead so much. But you mentioned the 0-2 count. He was looking for a breaking ball to put him away, but it breaks way too far inside on Barnhart and gets him right in the back.
And now Nick Castellanos comes to the plate. He's hit a double in the first inning, and now he's got a chance to potentially generate some more offense for the Reds here with none out.
That big extra base hit, he was left stranded on second, but stung a nice double right into the gap and was in there easily standing up.
Yeah, very nice swing on that one to start the game. As Trent Thornton running into a little bit of trouble here and there, he's been able to navigate around a couple different problems. And yes, he allows a home run the last inning, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do now in the third to try to navigate out of this one. As Castellanos hits that one up the middle, Bichette gets there, makes the play to panic at second, back to first, and Castellanos will get there safe, but still, great job by the Blue Jays defense getting the lead runner there.
Well, a nice play by Bichette to even get to that ball, because that was right up the middle and he had a long way to go, but he gets there and not only fields the ball, but makes a nice flip to panic to get the lead runner there.
So Castellanos reaches on that attempted double play, but he will stay at first, and it's a 1-0 count now to Jesse Winker, who last game went 0 for 3, had an RBI, and he's 0 for 1 in this contest, DHing today. And he fouls that one off on a very inside pitch. Guerrero is able to get there and make the play. 2 away now.
Guerrero, a nice grab to reach down and grab that one. Looked like that was just about to drop on him, but he cuts that off before the first hop and makes a nice play to retire Winker for the second out.
And now Joey Votto, to a ton of cheers here at the Rogers Center, steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day as he struck out in the first. Now with a runner on and 2 out, he'll try to keep this inning alive for the Reds.
Well, Thornton mixed his pitches with fastball and curveballs to set up Votto early in the count, and then he finished him off with a changeup last time. We'll see if he has a similar approach here where he's mixing mostly on the inside part of the plate and before finishing him off with the off speed. That's what he tried to do last time, and it worked for him.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of pitches to the inside from Thornton early on here. 2-0 count out of Votto, hitter's count. Here's a delivery. That one swung on, grounded over past the third base line for a foul. 2-1 count now.
This is the first game that Reese McGuire is calling this year. Jansen caught the entire series against Boston, mostly due to what he did at the plate. His bat was so hot that it seemed like Montoyo couldn't take him out of the lineup.
So that one's grounded over to short. Bichette will field it and make the play for the third out of the inning as Votto grounds out to the shortstop. As we head now to the bottom of the third, top of the lineup coming up next for the Blue Jays on the virtual Jays Network. Welcome back. Bottom of the third inning now between the Reds and the Blue Jays. Cincinnati up 1-0 in this one off of a Aristides Aquino home run earlier in this game as Desclafani goes out there for his third inning of work, and he's looked pretty good so far to start this game.
Yeah, he's looked on. He's shown some potential command issues where he missed on a fastball with Grichuk, but he's bounced back pretty nicely.
As Bichette grounds out to short, and the first out is recorded. And now Kevin Biggio playing first with 1 away now will step up to the plate. He flew out to center, or left field, in his first at-bat.
Biggio, we mentioned the struggles he had yesterday with the swings and misses, but earlier in the series against Boston, he was looking really nice, worked a couple walks, which is his MO at the plate, but also barreled some balls nicely into the gap and picked up a couple doubles.
And now it's a 1-0 count to Biggio. 2-0 now. A very good start to his season, as we've talked about, in the 2-hole. A very revered position in the lineup to be hitting at, and Biggio's done a good job honoring that so far as he swings through that one. Now a 2-1 count.
And Biggio likes to be ahead like this, and it's a good matchup against Desclafani where his stuff is there, and it's almost like a come-and-get-it type pitcher, but he's often away from the zone and misses with those pitches. You can see misses again there, and Biggio's not going to extend the zone unless he has to, and he has to protect with 2 strikes. So there, 2-1 count. If that's out of the zone, that's going to be a third pitch called ball almost always with Biggio's eye.
Yeah, great plate discipline for Cavan Biggio. In the 3-1 count now, he's got a chance to work himself a walk here. And he'll take that pitch that just paints the outside part of the play. It's a full count. 1 away now. Here's the 47th pitch of the game for Desclafani, and it's a strikeout. Biggio swing and missing there. 2 away now. Desclafani, 2 strikeouts on the day.
Great sequencing there. Takes something off of that one, pulls the string with the changeup, and Biggio way out in front as Desclafani, as you mentioned, racks up his 2nd strikeout now here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, good sequencing there from Desclafani at the at-bat. And now with 2 away, Randall Grichuk steps up to the plate, drills that one over to right field. And Aquino will be underneath it, and he'll make the play. 3 up, 3 down for Desclafani, as the Blue Jays will have to go on defense now as we head to the 4th inning on the virtual Jays Network. Welcome back to Toronto, top of the 4th inning, as Eugenio Suarez, he hit 49 home runs last season, and he's 0 for 1 on the day today. But you know what's interesting about Eugenio Suarez is that his home run totals have gone up every single year of his career. Kind of a cool little stat.
Well, the National League's in trouble this year if it goes up from 49 even further. He was a dark horse in that NL race and didn't get the press coverage that guys like Yelich and Bellinger got, but he was right there with them almost the whole year.
Yeah, I think being overshadowed as well by someone like Pete Alonso, even of the New York Mets. But yes, still a very prolific hitter, and one that, you know, is kind of just entering his prime now as he fouls that one off back into the seats. A 1-2 count.
And he's one of the reasons that the Reds, as we mentioned, have had such offensively heavy games. This is a lineup that's loaded with talent.
Yeah, I mean, they do a really good job of developing talent, right? I mean, you look around their lineup, a lot of these guys picks of the Reds, and even in the past, they've done a great job, whether it's, Frazier or Jay Bruce in the past, developing Johnny Cueto, like a lot of players they can develop. It's their issue of retaining them and being able to win with them. As Suarez strikes out there on a Trent Thornton pitch, his 2nd strikeout of the day.
Thornton has the swing and miss stuff going. We mentioned just the one mistake to Aquino earlier that has made the difference so far, but both pitchers have looked good and they're generating those whiffs.
Moustakas now trying to exact some revenge on the Blue Jays a little bit here, but he pops that one up on the first pitch to Reese McGuire after showboating a foul ball in the 2nd inning. And 2 away now.
As Reese McGuire brings that one in, it's interesting the relationship that a lot of these pitchers have with both McGuire and Jansen, because these younger guys, Barucki and Thornton and guys like Sean Reed-Foley or Wagsback that have been with the Jays for at least a year or a couple years coming through the system, they've got relationships built with these catchers because they were also coming up through the system, whether it was in single, double, or triple A. A lot of these battery mates have worked together coming up, so they have a unique bond most teams and battery mates don't necessarily have.
Yeah, it's very good for development and very good for growth, especially once you make the big leagues as a catcher. But now, some new pitchers entering the Blue Jays organization, mainly Hyun-Jin Ryu, Tanner Roark. They hardly saw Matt Shoemaker last year. Even a guy like Anthony Bass. So definitely some adjustments now, but I think that's what makes you great defensively as a catcher. A 3-1 count now to Aristides Aquino, who hit a home run in the 2nd inning, the only run scored in this game so far. Here's the pitch. That one swung on it. It's a full count now as he misses that one. Full count, 2 away. Here's the pitch. And Aquino swings and misses on that outside offering from Thornton there. Excellent job by Thornton to get through this inning. 3 up, 3 down. As we head now to the bottom of the fourth, it remains a 1-0 ball game on the virtual Jays Network. And welcome back to Toronto, as it's 1-0 Cincinnati in the first game of a 3-game interleague set here at the Rogers Center. Of course, many fans in attendance due to the Canadian presence on the Reds, Joey Votto. But you know what? It's been a 1-0 ball game so far, pitching kind of being the story of this one as we enter the bottom of the fourth.
And both pitchers have been a little bit flashy with it, too. We've seen swings and misses and lots of big strikeouts from both guys.
As Guerrero fouls that one off past the third base line. Desclafani up to 50 pitches now in the fourth. Guerrero Jr. 0 for 1 on the day. Swings and misses on that high fastball offering there. It's a 1-2 count. Desclafani looking for the punch out here. And that inside pitch taken by Guerrero. Excellent job taking that one. And it's a 2-2 count. Here's the windup, and that one's grounded back up the middle. Suarez gets there, makes the play, and he gets him. What a defensive effort from, Mike Moustakas, I should say, not Eugenio Suarez.
Well, and that, what would have been just a soft ground ball with no shift, turns into a very difficult play. Moustakas has to range away from first base. You see the jump he makes there. A beautiful play and nails the out. You said Moustakas earlier, very correctly, not known for his defense, but wow, that was a play.
Yeah, no kidding. And he's, especially playing at second base, that's not very easy defensively. He's more of a hot corner guy, but transitions over to second and yes, makes an incredible play, ranging to his right, and then, being able to field it, jump, and make a pretty good throw on the money. And, some good defense. We'll see if that continues this season, but Teoscar Hernandez in an 0-2 count now. As that pitch is low and inside, it's a 1-2 count. Hernandez 1 for 1 on the day with a single. And he strikes out there. Desclafani with an excellent job, getting his now third strikeout, and his pitch speed 97 compared to Thornton's 96 so far.
We mentioned the fastball is the highlight of his repertoire. He can pump that thing in there, and 97, he can touch a little higher. He'll sit around 96, 97. He can touch 98, and that is a fastball the Jays saw a little bit of yesterday from Nathan Eovaldi. His was touching 98, 99 at times, so maybe that'll be an advantage because they're almost used to seeing it after hitting Eovaldi pretty well yesterday.
It's a 1-0 count to Brandon Drury, the DH today for the Blue Jays. Takes that low inside offering, a 2-0 count now.
And Drury can play almost all around the field. Some outfield, corner infield, play some second base. So it's interesting that even though he's, to some teams, and especially when he was on a couple of those Yankees teams, he was used as a utility knife, he's been the DH here so far.
Yeah, very versatile player for sure. I think that's one of the reasons that the Blue Jays have been able to keep him around. And especially if this bat can keep going the way it did in the first series, he should have he should be in the starting lineup very often this season. But we'll have to see how it plays out. A 2-2 count now as he tries to keep this Blue Jays inning alive. And he swings past that one. Another strikeout for Desclafani back-to-back as he gets out of this inning. 1-2-3 inning as we head now to the fifth. It remains a 1-0 ball game here in Toronto. Welcome back to the Rogers Center. It's a 1-0 ball game still as Mark Payton playing center field in his first Major League Baseball season. He's 0 for 1 on the day as he drills that one over into deep right center, shallow right center field, I should say. Grichuk is there to make the play, and he'll be retired.
Grichuk and Hernandez, the two outfielders there. both returning after the first series, but a new face in left field as Gurriel gets the day off. Fisher's in there. We also, Anthony Alford is also on this team. Alford made the team out of camp. We haven't seen him yet. He was out of options, so the front office made the decision instead of waiving him to give him a chance here as the team's 5th outfielder with the extra spot on the roster now. 26-man rosters across the MLB. Teams have a bit more flexibility to keep guys like that on their team.
For sure, as Freddie Galvis swings through that one. It's a 1-1 count to the shortstop. 0 for 1 on the day. And he popped out to the catcher in the second inning. And he'll try to get something going here with 1 away for the Reds as Thornton deals. And again, working inside, that one missing. Here's the 2-1 offering. That one's low. You know, he offered the changeup. Not a bad one, but Galvis lays off it. He's already seen it. It's a 3-1 count now.
Thornton going to have to battle back here. He's got 8 and 9 coming up, and if either of them get on base, the lineup turns over. So 3-1, he's got to attack here to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, it's second time through the lineup. It only gets harder, especially for someone like Thornton, who is still trying to establish himself in the league. A full count, 1 away as Galvis delivers a hit, but it is fouled past the first base line, but an excellent swing on that one. Here's the full count pitch. And that one gets back into the zone for a strike. Galvis was going to take inside, but it sneaks back in there. A 4th strikeout for Thornton on the day.
You can see that fastball tails back into the zone. A great pitch there. Galvis watching that one all the way. Doesn't take the bat off the shoulder, and he'll be sent back to the dugout as Thornton racks up another strikeout.
Yeah, and a clean inning so far for Thornton. I think that's so important for him as he now works in the last batter of the second time through the lineup. So, you know, he'll be going through his 3rd time through the lineup after Barnhart. So, you know, it's very important to get clean innings while you can as Barnhart delivers that hit over to first base. Oh, an interesting little flip to Thornton there. Wow, Biggio showing off what he's got as he makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. Thornton through 5 as we head to the bottom of the 5th in Toronto. And welcome back to Toronto. We see Reese McGuire there. He is grounded out into a fielder's choice and actually made it to first in the second inning. But it'll be Derek Fisher who will step up to the plate now. As we mentioned earlier, it's his first game of the season, his first start of the season. Playing left field today, he walked in the second on 4 balls. And Desclafani up above 62 pitches now. You know, in terms of maybe getting pulled, Desclafani not really concerned right now as he's kept the Blue Jays to 0 runs in this one. He's looked really good.
Yep, he's had it going for him. Now retired. The last 10 batters he's faced, he walked one. It was actually Fisher he walked, but then the next batter he got to ground into a fielder's choice, and that was a 3 up, 3 down inning for him. So he's really locked in now after a little bit of trouble loading the bases in the first, but after getting that, he's just locked down and hasn't allowed any base runner since Fisher.
Yeah, and he's been, getting ahead in counts, and when he's behind the count, he's been able to catch up and get back into the count to make it full. As that changeup offering, excellent take by Fisher there. It's a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swung and missed there. That changeup fools him. 3 straight strikeouts for Desclafani here.
3 in a row and 5 on the day. He's got phenomenal stuff. That breaking ball really fooled Fisher there. Out in front, tries to go down and at least get a piece of it to stay alive, but Desclafani prevails and back to the bench for Fisher.
And now Reese McGuire will try his luck. Of course, acquired from Pittsburgh in 2016, along with Francisco Liriano in exchange for Drew Hutchinson, former Blue Jays starter, and he grounds out to second. Moustakas makes the play. 2 away now. And speaking of trades and acquisitions, Anthony Desclafani, the starter, actually with the Blue Jays, pitched in the minors. He was part of kind of that renaissance of young pitchers coming up, along with Aaron Sanchez, Noah Syndergaard, Justin Nicolino. But he gets moved, actually, in 2012 to Miami in that big Mark Burley, Jose Reyes deal. And they came over to Toronto. That one is hit over fair down the third base line. It'll get into left field. Oh, and what a play. Look at this. Joe Panic gets into second. Excellent job by him, the 9-hitter, with his first double of the season.
Well, a nice read there. Saw that he had time to round first, and when the ball hadn't been fielded yet, he gets sent all the way to second, gets in there with a nice double, and he'll turn the lineup over now, a runner in scoring position, as Bo Bichette will come up.
And that's exactly what you want from your number 9 hitter, right? Getting on, and especially getting in a scoring position here for the top of your lineup. A good opportunity for Bo Bichette to potentially get himself another RBI.
Continuing about Desclafani, after being traded to the Marlins, he was then traded to Cincinnati in a trade where Cincinnati gave up Matt Latos. So a guy that is already out of the league in exchange for someone who's became a very legitimate starter, as we've seen how good Desclafani's been so far tonight.
Yeah, and a good year last year as well, keeping his ERA in the 3s, and he's remained healthy the last few years, which has been important for him, and the Reds have really found themselves a good, mid-rotation starter. 1-1 count now to Bichette. Bichette trying to drive Panic home if he can, and that pitch goes right down to Young Street. It's a 1-2 count now. We'll see if Bichette can stay alive here. He's trying to, and that pitch is low. Almost gets away from Barnhart, but good job from the catcher keeping it in front of him there. It's a 2-2 count now.
Nice block. You can see he dropped to his knees early and just keeps that one in front of him to prevent Panic from advancing to third.
And Bichette fouls off that inside offering. Remains a 2-2 count. Bit of a battle going on here at the plate.
Bichette's got one of the Jays' 3 hits so far today, and another one here would drive in the run to tie the game.
And he looks for that pitch. Sinks low below the zone. Excellent take. And it's a full count now as Kevin Biggio, who made a cheeky little flip to end the prior inning, or the prior half inning, I should say, is on deck. Full count now to Bichette, looking to drive in a tying run, and he swings past that low off-speed offering. Barnhart finishes the play to first, and it's another inning in which Desclafani gets through it without allowing a run. It remains 1-0 as we head to the 6th inning on the virtual Jays Network. Welcome back to Toronto. Cincinnati Reds still lead the Blue Jays 1-0 here as we see some action in the Blue Jays bullpen. Wilmer Font and Shun Yamaguchi warming for the Blue Jays. But Trent Thornton, he's had a pretty good start so far. And, 6 up, 6 down in his last 2 innings. And now he'll take on Nick Castellanos, 3rd time through the lineup, though.
I think what you just said is the key to why we're seeing bullpen action. 3rd time through, a lot of things can change and a lot can go wrong as hitters begin to see your stuff and be more familiar with what you're offering. So it's just Montoyo being careful by getting a couple arms up and throwing.
Broken bat there as that one trickles down past the first base line. Foul ball. It's an 0-2 count. Yeah, and especially because, 3rd time through the lineup against a very, a lineup that's got some serious power to it in a barn like this that the ball can really fly. As that one is swung on to deep right field, but it'll go foul.
That one had distance. It was hooking and really got foul late, but that one off the bat looked like it had a real chance of going.
And that 0-2 offering from Thornton misses outside. It's 1-2 now to Castellanos, the leadoff hitter for the Reds today. Also takes that one. It's a 2-2 count now.
Well, it's been 8 straight retired. The last man to reach base was Castellanos.
As he fouls that inside offering off, it remains 2-2. Battle here at the plate as Thornton, his next pitch will be number 70 on the day. Here it is. That one misses outside. It's a full count.
Nice work by Castellanos to battle back all the way from 0-2. Now with the count full, he forces Thornton to come into the zone and give him something to hit.
Let's see if he can hit this. Oh, he swings past it instead. Trent Thornton delivers an excellent high fastball for his 5th strikeout of the day. 1 away now in the 6th inning.
You can see Castellanos really wanted to do some damage there. That ball was out of the zone, up above the letters, but it would have been ball 4. Instead, he swings after it and misses, and he'll be the first out of the inning as he goes back to the dugout.
And we saw Thornton work a lot low, a lot inside in that at-bat, but fooling Castellanos a little bit there is Winker. Another broken bat, and that one this time foul past the third base line. It's an 0-1 count.
Yeah, second broken bat of the inning. That just speaks to what Thornton's been trying to do, getting in on the hands. Another inside pitch coming here.
As Winker drives that one over to right, a pretty quick missile there, but it goes past the first base line. 0-2 now. 2 foul balls in this at-bat already. Here's the pitch. That one's high, and he'll take it for a ball. It's a 1-2 count to Winker, the number 2 hitter today for the Reds. And here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's inside, and once again fouled off past the third base line.
Well, Thornton missed his spot pretty badly on that second last pitch. McGuire set up way down and out of the zone, and instead the pitch was actually above the strike zone.
And that pitch just misses the bottom inside corner. Excellent tape from Winker, and he evens up the count at 2. 1 away as Winker takes that inside offering from Thornton. It's a full count with Joey Votto on deck.
And now back-to-back pitches, counts, that the batters have worked their way full, and Thornton's really working here to start the 6th inning.
Sure is. Let's see if his work can pay off. Here's the pitch. That one is high, and it's called ball 4. Winker will walk. He gets a 1-out walk now off of a pretty good battle there. Thornton, lots of pitches in this inning, and there will be a pitching change. Charlie Montoyo not wanting to mess around with Joey Votto and Eugenio Suarez coming up next.
And the fastball there that ended up walking Winker, almost the exact same pitch he threw 3-2 to Castellanos. Fastball elevated above the zone. Castellanos expands the zone and swings through it. Winker instead takes it, and he'll be on first now, as Shun Yamaguchi will inherit the runner in his 3rd appearance of the season now.
Yeah, and he's looked pretty good in his starts, or in his appearances, rather. In each of his appearances, he's pitched 2 innings. He's been pretty effective. He's got a nice fork ball. He uses it pretty well. His command has been solid. Did allow a home run against the Red Sox. But now he'll face a pretty tough hitter here, Joey Votto. He takes a first pitch strike right on the outside part of the plate.
The danger, what we've seen so far with Yamaguchi, is the 3 walks to 0 strikeouts. His command's been all over the place, but hasn't been overly effective with it.
Votto drills that one to deep right field. Hernandez giving chase, and that one is out of here. Joey Votto, the hometown kid, hits a 2-run shot, and it's 3-0 Reds.
Well, Winker, that shows just how much that walk that he battled for means. He'll come around to score all the way from first on that Votto home run, and Votto really gets a hold of this one. It's a pitch low and inside that he turns on, and he pulls it right over the right field wall. Votto, as he rounds the bases, he said in interviews and he said in press conferences that the Jays and coming home to Canada doesn't mean as much to him as some people might think it does, but you've got to imagine it's going through his mind right now as he rounds the bases here to give the lead, to extend the lead, It's now 3-0 Cincinnati.
Yeah, massive hit there, and certainly some family in attendance for Votto today. Shun Yamaguchi now trying to battle after that as Moustakas hits that one over to the shortstop. Bichette fields it, makes the play. Oh, excellent job defensively by Bichette there to bail out Yamaguchi.
And a deep throw that Bichette has to make there, ranging away from first base, fields it cleanly. Suarez not the fastest runner, but he can hold his own coming down the line, and Bichette hurrying makes the throw and now records the 2nd out of the inning. Great play by Bichette.
Yeah, and if Suarez reaches there, Yamaguchi could be in some serious trouble, so that was much needed defense, very timely, an excellent job by the young shortstop for the Blue Jays. But Mike Moustakas playing second base. He's 0 for 2 on the day as he tries to continue this hitting frenzy for the Reds. Maybe try to extend this lead as he drives that one to deep right center field. Grichuk giving chase. He's back against the wall, and he'll watch that one hit off the top of the wall and out. Mike Moustakas, his 3rd home run of the season, finally exacts his revenge on the Blue Jays.
Well, that he does. That ball hit really hard to center field. In his first 2 at-bats, he just got under it both times, once popping up to the catcher, the second time popping up to the first baseman. This one, he gets all of it, drills it. You can see another pitch on the lower half of the strike zone. This one, a breaking ball that Moustakas goes and gets. And really, you can see he gets all of it. Grichuk gives chase, but that one's out of there.
And, we're seeing for the Reds, the moneymakers are really, the ones driving offense. We see Aristides Aquino, who's hitting 6 today. He can drive a ball to deep left field, and he did it there. That one was a no-doubter. But Mike Moustakas with a home run. Votto with a 2-run shot. We're seeing this lineup, this very powerful Reds lineup, deliver here against Thornton and Yamaguchi. Now, a 4-0 ball game. That one's fouled off past the first base line. It's an 0-1 count now to Aquino, who in his last 3 games has 3 RBIs. So a pretty good start to the season for him.
Yeah, an RD1 here tonight with the solo home run that you just saw. Yamaguchi gets through the middle of the order, but no easy task here.
And that one's grounded over to second. Panic is there, makes the play. And there's 2 out now. Or pardon me, 3 out. That was the 3rd out. Excellent job by Yamaguchi after that 2-run home run, being able to retire the hitters for the Reds. It's 4-0 though, as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And welcome back to Toronto. If you just missed the last half inning, maybe you were out walking the dog or something, you missed a lot. The hometown hero Joey Votto, after a walk from Winker, delivers a 2-run home run. And then Mike Moustakas, with 2 away, delivers a home run as well before Aquino grounds out to second. So Yamaguchi, he's able to get out of that inning, which is a positive, but some issues, obviously, allowing a couple bombs.
Yeah, very, very rough outing for Yamaguchi. He looked pretty good against Boston, appearing in multiple innings in the 2 appearances that he came out for, but this so far tonight, it seems like he doesn't have it. Maybe Montoyo throws him back out there for the 7th, but he just didn't have it in the 6th. You mentioned 2 major home runs, and when you inherit the runner on first and it's a 1-run game, that's the absolute worst case scenario.
And now it's a 4-run game as Kevin Biggio tries to start to dig into some of that lead. Now Anthony Desclafani still going strong up to 80 pitches, but he's got a shutout going, and he's looking pretty comfortable up there. 2-1 count to Biggio. And that pitch just outside. It's a 3-1 count now.
Desclafani's going to have to get through the heart of the order here. After Biggio, it'll be Grichuk and Guerrero Jr. So he's done well with them so far. He'll have to continue it here in the 6th.
Biggio drives that one. It'll sail foul past the third base line. A full count.
Lots of green over that way as they're shifting him to pull pretty heavily. If he would have kept that fair, would have easily been extra bases.
And Biggio grounds that one once again. A foul ball. Remains a full count. And I think if you're the Jays now, your biggest hope for the hitters is, okay, let's get Desclafani out of this game and start working in the Reds' bullpen, especially in the first game of a 3-game series.
That's right. I mean, they just traveled in from Cincinnati. You want to jump on them early in the series, as always, trying to get to their pitchers. We're going to see Bauer later in this series. It'll be Mahle tomorrow and Bauer to finish the series on Wednesday. So before that, you want to try and pick into their bullpen as much as possible.
And Rendell Grichuk trying to do just that now. 0 for 1 with a walk on the deck. And he'll try to keep this, get Biggio perhaps over and start to generate some offense now. Hitting number 3 today. Lots of responsibility that comes with that spot.
He was one of the 3 runners able to reach in the first, where the Jays loaded the bases, weren't able to score, and then ended up giving up a run in the next half inning. So it kind of shows that when you have those opportunities, you really need to capitalize in this game. And when they stranded the runners and turn around to give up a run of their own, very disappointing for Montoyo and the Jays staff.
Well, and especially, if they are able to get a couple runs in that inning, let's say they get 2, they would be in the lead for a majority of the game until just that last half inning. The whole game would change. All the situations change. So, definitely a missed opportunity for the Blue Jays there, but, that's baseball sometimes. You win some, you lose some. It's a 3-1 count for Grichuk. So he tries to reach here.
And even maybe with the lead, we still would have seen Thornton in the game, not lifted so early, and maybe those 3 runs from Yamaguchi might not have even happened.
And now back-to-back walks for Desclafani to start this 6th inning. He's had 89 pitches, first and second, none out, as Vlad Guerrero Jr. will step up to the plate with a gorgeous opportunity to drive in some offense here.
Well, and 2 walks from Grichuk there. He's reached base twice now. Being promoted in the order, we've mentioned already, a bigger task for him today, but he's doing exactly what he has to, working deep into counts and getting on base.
Guerrero Jr. drives that one to deep right center field. And the play is made by Aquino. He'll throw in now. No tag able to be made on that one. 1 away.
Guerrero trying to ambush that first pitch there and get some pretty good wood on it, but just not enough behind it to carry it deep enough to even move the runner over from second. So they'll still be first and second, and now after getting that line out, Desclafani will have double play in order that can potentially get him out of this inning if he can induce a nice ground ball.
We'll see if he can, as that first pitch is low and inside to Teoscar Hernandez, who, 1 for 2 on the day, hit a single in the first over the left field side. He'll try to do something similar here. It'd be a good time to drive in some offense, and Hernandez has that ability, one of the better bats in this lineup.
And already in the 6th inning, with a 4-run deficit, you got to start chipping into that sooner rather than later.
Here's the pitch. Hernandez chokes up a little bit and fouls that one back. It's a 1-2 count. Hernandez trying to stay alive, trying to keep the Jays in this ball game, and some offense right now. A pretty good time for that. He doesn't want to leave any more runners on base. 2-2 count. Desclafani deals. And that one's low and inside. It's a full count here, as there's possibility for 3 straight walks in this inning.
And Hernandez's single in the first came in this situation with runners on first and second. There were 2 outs then, only 1 out here, but his single to right field kept things going and ended up loading the bases. Going to try for that again.
Let's see what happens here. The full count pitch is in there for a strike looking. Freezes Hernandez there. His 7th strikeout of the game for Desclafani. What a pitch.
Well, that pitch looked pretty well above the knees when they crossed the plate, so almost seemed like he was expecting a breaking ball, and that fooled him because that pitch was definitely on the plate, and Hernandez will go down as a nice timely strikeout from Desclafani gets him potentially out of trouble here as he's 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
And Brandon Drury will try to keep this inning alive for the Blue Jays. He's 0 for 2 on the day, as he grounds that one over to second base. Moustakas fields, and this should be the inning. It is. So the Jays put a couple runners on with a couple walks, but they are unable to get Desclafani. It remains a 4-0 ball game now as we head to the 7th inning in Toronto. And it appears we have a bullpen call as Wilmer Font will make his very first appearance of the season for the Blue Jays.
Last year, Font, more of an opener than used in relief. He was used quite often paired with guys like Pannone very often, where Font would pitch an inning or 2 and Pannone would come in. Occasionally paired with Sean Reed Foley, or we saw him also with Trent Thornton in a couple appearances. So here it'll be Thornton starting and Font coming in relief, but a piece that if the Jays rotation has some injuries or setbacks or struggles, we might see him back to opening games later in the season.
And Justin Miller and Thomas Pannone getting warm in that bullpen for the Blue Jays. Mark Payton 0 for 2 on the day, leading things off here in the top of the 7th. An inside pitch misses there.
So Yamaguchi not returning for another inning of work. That is understandable. He just didn't have his stuff today. Left a couple breaking balls up over the plate. Left a fastball in on the hands of Joey Votto, and those mistakes were costly as now all he ended up doing was digging this deficit deeper for the Jays.
Yeah, allows a couple home runs to 2 very dangerous hitters in Votto and Moustakas. Here's the 1-2 count as Font delivers that pitch high and inside to Payton. It's a 2-2 count. And now we're going to see some more of the deeper end of this Blue Jays bullpen. We're going to see what it's really made of, especially with Yamaguchi struggling today. He had been one of the more consistent arms so far this season, as that one's flown up over to the third base side. Guerrero gets it, tracking back, and one away now.
Talking about the bullpen, there's still a handful of pieces we haven't seen. Sam Gaviglio was used very often last year in all sorts of different situations. Multiple innings, single innings, setup roles, mop-up roles, and so we haven't seen him at all yet. So there's a couple guys in that bullpen that Montoyo's saved, and now 5 games in, we're seeing the first outing where a pitcher doesn't put up a quality start, and he's going to have to use that bullpen a little bit more here tonight.
Yeah, the first pitch is a ball to Freddie Galvis, who's also 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to the catcher in the second, and then had a strikeout looking in the fifth, and he's got a nice hitter's count now.
Galvis started last season with the Blue Jays. They picked him up over the offseason, signed him to a 2-year deal, eventually couldn't trade him before the deadline, and waived him to make room for Bichette, and Cincinnati picked him up off waivers.
Ah, that's right. I mentioned earlier that it was a trade, but it was, in fact, a waive. That's a shame. It's surprising that they weren't able to get more for Galvis, considering he did hit 20-plus home runs last year, but, nonetheless, that's baseball sometimes, leverage and all those other things. But anyways, Galvis in Cincinnati, and he is retired as Tucker Barnhart will step in with 2 away. And that one's driven into deep right field, but it's a little too high, a little too much underneath it as Hernandez is there to make the play. Well, 3 up, 3 down for the Reds as the Jays will come back in the bottom of the 7th with their 79 hitters, trying to generate some offense here. Well, everyone, welcome back on the Virtual Jays Network. We have a pitching change for the Reds. Anthony Desclafani's day is done, and now Raisel Iglesias will step in for the 7th inning here.
Iglesias pitched 3 1/3 in that opening series against the Cardinals, only giving up 1 run. We've seen him in the past closing games for Cincinnati. This year he's moved into more of a middle relief type role, so he'll get the 7th inning here.
And he'll kick things off against Derek Fisher, who's 0 for 1 with a walk on the day.
Interesting choice to throw Iglesias here. Sinker baller that'll throw a hard slider. So he usually attacks righties a little more than lefties, but he gets the assignment of 3 straight lefties here as Fisher, McGuire, and Panik set to face him.
And a 1-2 count to Fisher, the leadoff hitter in this inning for the Blue Jays. Here's the pitch. That one swung on, fouled up. And it looks like Votto will get there past the first base line, and he'll make the play. 1 away now.
Quick out for Iglesias. Mentioned the sinker baller. You don't see as many pop-ups as you see ground balls, but he gets Fisher underneath that one, and it's an easy out there as Votto hauls it in.
And possibly an easy inning for Iglesias as well, with the 79ers coming up. None of them have appeared in action earlier this season. So, pretty good opportunity for the former closer for the Reds. Here's his 5th pitch of his outing, and that one's driven over to right center, and that one will drop. That touches some grass as Reese McGuire reaches.
And it's interesting that we're seeing Iglesias here. I mean, David Bell made the decision to manage his bullpen this way, but Iglesias, a very established closer. He's closed them the last 3 seasons and did quite well. So it's interesting. He demoted down to a middle inning role. Probably we'll see him as more of almost a Josh Hader type role where the inning won't matter and he'll face some important parts of the lineup. But yeah, it's interesting to see that he's lost the closing job to Pedro Strop.
As Michael Lorenzen and Robert Stevenson get warm in the pen, a couple more righties for the Reds. Kind of a righty-dominated bullpen, with Wade Miley being the only listed lefty out of that pen. And now, obviously, that could change, and I'm sure it will as the season goes on. That one misses outside. It's a 2-1 count.
And not just with the addition of lefties to the pens, but the subtraction. Miley in the bullpen to start the season, but he could definitely start some games depending on how things go.
As Iglesias misses there, it's a 3-1 count now, with Bo Bichette on deck and a runner already on first, and Reese McGuire, who singled with one away. Now Panic trying to add to that. He's got a double on the day as well. Check swing on that one. It's inside, and it is ruled that he didn't go, so it'll be a ball. Ball number 4. Panic will walk. First and second, one away as we head back to the top of the lineup for the Blue Jays.
Something going now for the Blue Jays. Looks like Panic holds up. That is a close one, though. Almost breaks the plane. I think it's the right call, though, as he'll be on first base now with a walk.
It's certainly a close one, at least, but now Bo Bichette 1 for 3 on the day. He had an infield single in the first, and now he's got a real opportunity here to drive in some runs and potentially generate some offense for the Blue Jays.
Michael Lorenzen up in the pen. If a big hit happens here and Iglesias gets into a bit more trouble, Lorenzen's been a setup guy that could come in high leverage.
And that one's lined out right over to Suarez there at third. 2 away now.
Tough break for Bichette. He's really struggled to start this season, and he really hit that ball hard, but right to Suarez.
And now we'll see Kevin Biggio playing first base today, 0 for 2 on the day with a walk in the 6th. He's 4 for 15 to start this year. And, you know, Drew, with 2 out and 2 on and down 4, you could really use a hit right now.
Especially with, as you mentioned, 2 on, 2 out. This is potentially one of the last few rallies the Jays might have. The clock is ticking. They've got 7 outs left to score 4 runs at least. And you got to make some moves soon.
And a hitter's count now. Great situation for Biggio. And he's up against a pretty good reliever, but, you know, the Blue Jays have been able to at least get on base in this game. They just haven't been able to drive home any runs. Perhaps that changes now. Here's a great opportunity. 2-0 count. And that one just misses outside right near the corner, but it's a 3-0 count.
Iglesias might have gotten squeezed there a little bit. That was right on the edge, but no call.
Here's the 3-0. And he misses low there. Biggio will walk to first now, and the bases are loaded with 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th as the Blue Jays look to start a rally.
Back-to-back walks this inning, and back-to-back walks for Biggio. He walked in the last appearance, and now he'll take the free base as he strides to first, and it'll be Randall Grichuk now. Bases loaded, 2 away.
And a great opportunity for Grichuk, who's got 2 walks, and he's 0 for 1 on the day. 5 for 15 on the season. Listen, he's played great to start this year. We know he's got some pop. Probably one of the better hitters for the Blue Jays that you could have in this position. He's got a great opportunity against Iglesias, who's reeling here.
First pitch strike, but there's been all sorts of walks. That walk from Biggio is the 6th walk the Jays have received, and they've only got 4 hits.
And all of a sudden, it's an 0-2 count to Grichuk, who swings past that high offering from Iglesias there. Here's the reliever's chance to get out of this inning. Can he do it? Grichuk drives that one into deep left field. Chase, Nick Castellanos was giving chase. It didn't look like he was going to get there, but he reaches out and makes the grab to end the inning. Wow, the Jays couldn't come up with one there. So we head now to the 8th inning, 4-0 Reds. Welcome back to Toronto as we see Nick Castellanos for the 4th time this game. He's 1 for 3 with a double as well as a strikeout.
And a nice grab by him there to get into the left center gap and reach up and grab Randall Grichuk's bid for extra bases to end the inning. That's the 2nd jam the Reds have gotten out of with the bases loaded.
And he drills that one to deep left field, and that one will be off the wall. Fielded by Fisher. He throws it in, but not before Castellanos cruises into second for his 2nd double of the game.
And Font's back out here to start this inning. He pitched a clean 7th, so it makes sense he's out here for the 8th, but Castellanos greets him with extra bases. He lined one into the right center gap to start the game in the 1st, and now one into the left center gap to start things in the 2nd.
And now Jesse Winker with a runner in scoring position. 0 for 2 on the day, takes a first pitch strike from Font, but he had a walk and came around to score in the 6th off of a Joey Votto home run. He'll try to tack on a couple extra runs to the Reds' lead here as he fouls that one off past the third base line. It's an 0-2 count.
And we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, Castellanos, the reigning Major League doubles champion, led both the American League and National League last year.
Oh, and that one looks like it hits Winker there, or perhaps his bat. Bit of a confusing play there.
Yeah, he goes around, so even though that hit him on the hand, since he went around, that'll be a strikeout. So great deception as Font manages to pick up the strikeout. Now there's one away.
Lucky play there, and we see Joey Votto in his last plate appearance. Oh, he went deep into right field off of a Shinya Yamaguchi pitch that was left a little too much in the zone. Drove home 2 runs, and it was a 3-0 game at that point. Moustakas, a couple batters later, makes it a 4-0 game with his home run. But now Wilmer Font will try to keep the Reds at bay here. 2-0 count now.
And it was an inside pitch that Votto hit out, so you can see Font starts with 2 outside fastballs. Not sure if that's affected by what Votto did, but when you see Votto destroy the inside fastball he did in his last at-bat, you've got to figure that's going to affect your game plan.
Here's the 2-0 count, a hitter's count now. As Votto grounds that one over to short, Bichette there makes the play. Excellent job there by Bichette defensively, and Votto is retired 2 away with a runner on second for the Reds.
Well, and nothing fancy by Bichette there, but a play you've got to make. Hit right to him. He does a great job, feels it cleanly. We talked on our first few broadcasts about how we didn't know what this infield defense would give the Jays, but so far, so good.
As Eugenio Suarez steps in and takes a first wild pitch there, but McGuire able to block it very well, and Castellanos will not be able to advance. He stays at second. And that one's swung on over to short. Bichette there, ranges to his left, makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So Wilmer Font gets through an inning without allowing a run. Remains a 4-0 ball game as we head to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays Sluggers coming up next. And now we see another pitching change for the Cincinnati Reds as Michael Lorenzen will make his 2nd appearance of the season here on the Virtual Jays Network.
Gave up a run in an inning pitched against the Cardinals. He's going to come in here now in a setup situation despite not being necessarily a save situation. The fact that it's going to be 4-5-6 for the Jays means that David Bell isn't going to mess around, and it'll be Lorenzen in here to deal with the threat.
As Guerrero on that first pitch puts that one right back up the middle, a single into center for a leadoff single for Guerrero Jr.
Lorenzen had a breakout year last year, put up 2.5 WAR out of the bullpen, which is definitely respectable for a reliever. Had a nice 2.92 ERA and appeared in 73 games. 83 innings of work for him, a really nice job, and he's going to be a solid guy all year long that Cincinnati's going to look to count on in the back end of that bullpen.
Delivers a first pitch strike there to Teoscar Hernandez, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Struck out looking in his last plate appearance in the 6th inning. And the 0-1 now as Lorenzen tries to work around a leadoff single from Guerrero Jr. Here's the delivery. And that one is swung and missed upon there. Excellent job by Lorenzen to get Hernandez to swing, but that's a pretty outside pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, chasing there, expanding the zone. Now he's going to battle back from 0-2.
Already 2 strikeouts on the day, looking to avoid a third, and he grounds that one up the middle. It hits Lorenzen, but it bounces off him over towards first base, and Hernandez is able to reach on the infield single.
Yeah, it's tough there for Lorenzen. It looked like it got him on the glove or near the glove. Barnhart's going to come check him out. You can expect the manager or trainer at least going to check on him now. Didn't look like it got him hard as he waves off the manager, but still, anytime a ball comes back at your pitcher, it's a sight you never want to see.
No question about that. It looked like it hit him, and he kind of froze for a second there. Might have been in some shock, and obviously not able to make the play defensively. But all of a sudden now, the Blue Jays, once again, I mean, deja vu, they're able to get runners on first and second, none out, but can they drive them home?
And it'll be interesting as we see 6, 7, 8 coming up, what the Jays do with their bench. As there are a few key pieces sitting out today, the bench has Danny Jansen, who's been very hot. It has Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was in the 3-hole for the first series and is a middle of the lineup bat. And it's also got Travis Shaw, the lefty, with some pop. So we'll see if we see any of those guys coming in here.
As Drury swings on that 0-1 offering, makes it 0-2 though as he fouls it back.
And a fun note on Lorenzen, you won't see it here in the American League, but he's got a bat to him. In 2018, he put up some big numbers at the plate.
And it's a shame we won't see him at the plate today as we are in an American League ballpark, so they use designated hitters as opposed to having pitchers hit. And it's an 0-2 count now to Brandon Drury, who's trying to get a hit and possibly generate some offense for the Blue Jays, who have had none of it this game. And he swings and misses on an outside offering there. It's 1 away now.
A great pitch there as Drury chases the outside pitch, a very key strikeout with the runner in scoring position, getting your first out, gets 1 out closer to getting out of the jam, and again, puts a double play in order for Derek Fisher.
And Fisher 0 for 2 as he steps into the box trying to maybe get his first RBI of the season. Takes a first pitch strike on the inside part of the plate.
Nice fastball there with a little bit of a sink to it, right on the black, in on the lefty's hands. Not much Fisher can do with that unless he was expecting it, sitting at it, and getting way out in front.
Here's the 0-1 offering. That one is grounded over to short. Galvis is there, makes the play to second for 1, and over to Votto at first for 2. The double play occurs, and it remains a 4-0 ball game now for the Reds as the Jays leave a couple more runners on. It's a 4-0 ball game in Toronto. And welcome back. Now in the 9th inning, as the Cincinnati Reds look to add any insurance runs they possibly can. And it starts with Mike Moustakas hitting number 5 today. He drills that one to deep right field, but it is foul. And man, he's looked dangerous today, hasn't he? He's
really hit some balls hard. He's got a home run to show for it, but those foul balls have been really laced.
Drills this one, this time up the middle. It'll get through the outfield, and Fisher coming in from left fields it, but not before Moustakas reaches first easily on that outfield single there to lead things off for the Reds.
And Font's out here to start his 3rd inning of work. That ball was hit really hard. Font diving out of the way. I don't blame him. That ball was screaming through the infield.
Yeah, no real chance for him there. Now, Moustakas 2 for 4 in the day. And here's Aristides Aquino, who had a solo homer in the 2nd to get things started here. He put the Reds out to a 1-0 lead, and now he comes up to the plate with it being 4-0 and another chance to drive home some runs.
And the big reason it is 4-0 is that the runners the Reds have gotten on base, they've cashed in. They've only left 3 runners on base all game. The Blue Jays, 11.
And that's pretty much the story of the game right there, isn't it, Drew? As that one misses outside. It's a 2-1 count to Aquino. And you talk about the runners left on base, but also the Reds not doing that, meaning that their power hitters were executing today, essentially.
And it was that 6th inning where they got 3 runs in the inning, and it was 2 home runs in the span of 3 batters, following a walk to set the table. And those 3 runs have, although the home run from Aquino was the true difference, those 3 runs are huge in a game where the Jays haven't touched the scoreboard once yet.
Full count to Aquino now as Font's low changeup offering misses. An excellent pitch, but Aquino doing a great job of staying off of it. Now he swings on that outside high offering, but it is foul.
A deep at-bat. He worked into a deep at-bat in his second plate appearance and came away with a strikeout. See if he can do something else here.
Another foul ball off to the right field side. It remains a full count. Wilmer Font, in his first appearance in relief this season, this is his 28th pitch. Aquino this time drives it past the third base line.
Yeah, at least Font's fresh. Last he pitched was in Montreal back last week on the Wednesday game, but he hasn't pitched all season in Boston.
And he gets a strikeout look in there. Aquino's frozen on that. One away now.
Beautiful pitch there. A great battle all around, and finishes it nicely with the strikeout as Font, 29 pitches deep here in his third inning of work, but still has the stuff to do that.
A double play will get the Jays out of this inning, but Mark Payton, 0 for 3 on the day, certainly doesn't want that to happen as he tries to tack on a couple extra ones for the Reds before they have to go into a save, not even a save situation, rather, just a closeout situation, as it's a 4-0 ball game here at the Rogers Center. And Mark Payton takes there. It's a 1-1 count. Here's the delivery. And that one sails a little bit high on Font there. It's a 2-1 count. Payton with 3 flyouts in this one. 2 to the field and 1 to third. And he takes that low inside pitch there, and that'll be a strike, 2-2 count as Font tries to get out of this inning. At least tries to get some outs in this inning.
Great location on that fastball. He spots it there, right on the inside corner.
We'll see if he can do something like that again, and he pretty much does, but this time Payton swings over it as well. His third strikeout of the game for Font, that is, and an excellent job there.
All of them swinging, and on the breaking ball, wow, inside corner, breaking towards the lefty, but gets his timing off balance, and that'll be a nice way to pick up back-to-back strikeouts here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and he was able to get Aristides Aquino looking on the last at-bat prior to that, but now Freddie Galvis 0 for 3 on the day. Popped out in the 7th, and he'll try to keep this inning going for the Reds as they have 2 away now.
Nothing going yet for Galvis against his former team, but 3 games set, so he'll have a few more chances even if he doesn't come through with a base hit here.
Yeah, and some interleague play, so he won't see the Jays for a while after this, so this is probably these 3 games are his last opportunity if he wants to perform in his old barn, albeit not much time spent here, merely half a season, but nonetheless. 3-0 count now to Galvis. And that one's right down the middle there. It makes it a 3-1 count.
Looked to be taking all the way. That was a great pitch to hit fastball middle.
Here's the 3-1 offering from Font. That one's fouled off. Into the seats. It's a full count now.
Well, Font last year, the most pitches he threw with the Jays was 43. So at the 39 mark, he's getting up there.
And he delivers that low offering as Galvis drives it over deep left field. Fisher tracks it, gets over there, and he'll make the play. Galvis is retired, and we head now to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Jays with McGuire, Panic, and Bichette up for them. Closing time for the Reds here at Rogers Center. And it's 4-0 Cincinnati. They've been able to generate lots of offense off of home runs in this game. In fact, all of their runs have been scored off of homers. Votto with a 2-run shot, Moustakas with a homer, and Aristides Aquino, who's the right fielder for the Reds, hit a homer earlier in the game as Reese McGuire steps in to lead things off in the Blue Jays' last chance here to get something going.
An 8-9-1. They're really going to have to get something going, down 4. So at the very least, the lineup will turn over and Bichette will get a chance at the top, but the Jays really want one of these last 2 hitters in the lineup to do something, so there will be at least some runners on the base when the heart of the order comes up.
So that pitch misses outside. Lorenzen remains in the game. And it's a 2-0 count now.
Lorenzen with more than a single inning of work, 31 separate times last year. He is good here as he goes for a potential 6-out appearance here.
And we've talked about McGuire, trying to, win a catcher job or at least, make a dent in Jansen's great profile so far to start the season as they'll battle for time. But if McGuire could come up with a big hit here, that would make him look pretty good in the manager's books, wouldn't it? So that one misses low.
I think it's also telling that he's getting a chance here. Jansen's been hot, but they're not pinch hitting here in the ninth. They're letting McGuire see what he can do.
As he takes that pitch up above the zone for a leadoff walk. He delivers on Charlie Montoyo's bet.
Well, now with a runner aboard, they're going to need more than just the one runner. So if Panik can at least move him over, that'll be ideal. But at the very least, he cannot ground into a double play here because down 4, you really need every base runner you can get.
And Panik, a really good day at the plate. He had a double in the 5th, a walk in the 7th. So he's 1 for 2 in the day, looking to add to that now. Here's the pitch. That one misses outside, ball 1 to Panik.
Some out-of-town scoreboard updates. Red Sox up 4-0 over Baltimore in the 9th inning, so just a few outs away from picking up their first win of the season. Additionally, the other AL East game going on right now is Tampa Bay at New York in the Bronx, and Tampa Bay is up 2-0 in the 9th.
Lorenzen's offering there is fouled off past the first base line. And the Jays will actually go to the Bronx and see the Yankees later this week.
After Cincinnati, they'll hit the road and start a series with New York where they'll play New York Thursday, Saturday, Sunday in a weird series.
As that one is singled out over into center. And it looked like there were some issues out there in center field as Peyton had some troubles fielding that on this turf. Always a bit of an adjustment period for new outfielders who come here, but doesn't read the bounce properly and almost allowed McGuire to extend that run over to third, but he remains at second as now the closer for Cincinnati, Pedro Strop, will come into the ballgame now.
Well, not your traditional save situation, but a save situation nonetheless. Fits the requirement where all you need is the tying run on deck, which that'll be the case now as Bichette would represent the potential third run, and he's got to do something here to, if not try and hit that for extra bases, at least just pass the baton and reach base himself without creating any outs.
And we talked about the bottom of the lineup, setting the table, and they did just that. The 8-9 here is McGuire and Panik getting a walk and a single respectively, setting up a pretty good opportunity here for Bichette, who's 1 for 4 in the day.
And Strop signing just a $1.8 million one-year contract with the Reds. Very, very surprising that he won the closing job away from Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias almost 100 saves with the Reds over the past 4 seasons, but Strop won the job. He's got some experience closing himself, and he'll have a chance here to finish this one out.
And let's see if he can do just that. Here's the delivery over to Bichette, grounded over to Votto at first. He goes to Galvis at second. And they're not going to count it. They're going to say Galvis was dragged off of the base by the poor throw from Votto.
The error goes to Votto. Threw it way too far off to the right. Galvis tried to drag his foot, but had to come off the base to prevent that ball from getting into the outfield. All of a sudden, what might have been a potential double play ball, I think Bichette would have beaten it out, but they won't even get a chance to try and turn it because they don't get anyone out.
And all of a sudden, the tying run is at the plate in the form of Cavan Biggio. And he's 0 for 2 on the day. He has 2 walks. But, man, you talk about an opportunity, Drew. No excuses here.
And none out still.
Let's see if Strop can navigate his way out of quite a mess now. Biggio hitting .500 this season, albeit a small sample size with runners in scoring position. And he'll try to add to that here as the Blue Jays try to tack on some runs and maybe start a comeback. The Rally Caps are out at Rogers Center. Here's the pitch. That one misses outside to 2-0 count to Biggio.
Great eye from Biggio. Walks twice in his last 2 at-bats, and he is not going to chase. If Strop can't find the zone, he's happy to take a free 90.
And the last thing you want is a double play here, so Biggio's swing will certainly be up. And that one goes right in there for a strike. And a big moment here for the young infielder for the Jays. He's playing first base today as he grounds that one up over to second. Moustakas makes the tag and he throws to first, but it'll be safe. So a run comes in to score. Moustakas gets one out on the tag, but the play to first not in time. Now runners at first and third, and it's a 3-run ball game now as Randall Grichuk steps to the plate.
And a nice play from Moustakas. He's had a few nice plays out in the field. Go for the tag instead of trying to go to the base. He's running right at you. He's got nowhere to go. He makes the tag, try and save some time to throw it to first, but the ball hit just too softly to turn 2.
And a very good heads-up play from Moustakas there. As Strope's first pitch offering to Grichuk is a ball. 1-0 count now.
Grichuk, a bit of history with Iglesias. From his time with the Cardinals, 1 for 7. Not the biggest sample size, but enough of a history to know what he's got to offer.
And Strope delivers that off-speed pitch high in the zone there. It's a 1-1 count. Grichuk trying to... He once again represents the tying run, so he's trying to tie this thing up. Here's the pitch. That one's well outside. It's a 2-1 count.
The other Jay with experience against Iglesias is Travis Shaw, who played with the Brewers for quite a few years, and he's looming on the bench if Montoya wants to call on him.
Grichuk drives that one foul. That was a laser right near the seats there. It's a 2-2 count. Strope trying to get the second out of this inning here. Here's the pitch. That one swung and fouled off. We've got a bit of a battle at the plate now.
Fans on their feet here at the Rogers Center. This building is loud. Not the most fans in attendance, 24,000 on a Monday night, but those that stayed are getting a treat.
As the Blue Jays try to claw their way back into this one, now a full count to Randall Grichuk. Now second base is open, so Strope can't afford to allow a run. Now the bases would be loaded for Vlad Guerrero Jr., so it's not something he wants to do. As Grichuk has a great opportunity here, fans on their feet. Let's see what he can deliver. And that one is fouled off past the third base line. It remains a full count.
A late swing by Grichuk there, but he managed to get a piece of it. He's got 2 walks already tonight alone, looking for potentially a third or something to get something going here.
Let's see if he can do it. Here's the full count pitch. Fouled off once again.
And Strope really having to work now. A deep battle with Randall Grichuk.
Yeah, he thought he might get a night off with the 4-0 lead heading into the ninth, but here we are, first and third. 4-1 the game now as Grichuk once again fouls that one off. It remains a full count.
You can see 15 pitches on just his third batter after a quick hit from Bichette, and man, he's really working him here.
Let's see if that continues. Here's the pitch. That one's in the zone once again. Man, Strope is not messing around. He's putting pitches in the zone and them around the zone. He's certainly not scared to go after Grichuk, but Grichuk just, keeps battling here. See if it continues. As that one is high, and it'll be a walk for Grichuk. So the bases are loaded. 1 out for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
What a night for Grichuk. 3rd walk now. Great battle. 11 pitches. We saw that he was 1 for 7 against Strope. He's had a bit of a career in seeing him before. So now, in his 8th plate appearance, draws the walk, and his familiarity with what he has to offer in a repertoire clearly coming to some value there.
Guerrero Jr. represents the winning run at the plate. And that first pitch just cracks the top part of the plate there from Strope. It's an 0-1 count as Guerrero Jr. tries to tie this thing up.
Nice job by Barnhart to drag that into the zone. Often tough to get that call as the sinker breaking away from the strike zone, but keeps it in there.
It's one of the reasons why he won a Gold Glove in 2017. Guerrero Jr. swings past that one. Now it's an 0-2 count. The Blue Jays are on their final strike. Pardon me, not final strike, but could be their final strike, depending on what happens here. And try to avoid a double play as Guerrero Jr. fouls that one off. It'll remain an 0-2 count with 1 away. You got to remember that was only 1 out. I thought there was 2 there for a minute, but nonetheless, very important for Guerrero Jr. not to put anything in the infield here. As he swings past that one, a swing and a miss for Strope there. He needed that. The Blue Jays' young slugger walks back to the dugout with nothing to show for a 1-out, bases loaded at bat.
He fooled him with the changeup on the second pitch of the at-bat and had Guerrero way out in front. He goes to it again there with 2 strikes later in the count and gets him again with it.
And let's see now if Teoscar Hernandez, with 2 out and bases loaded, he's 2 for 4 on the day with 2 singles. If he can drive in some runs for the Blue Jays and keep this rally going. Fans up on their feet here in Rogers Center for the first game of this 3-game series between the Reds and the Blue Jays. Reds looking to close this thing out.
Strop, you can see 20 strikes of his 23 pitches. That's because a lot of those were foul balls from both Grichuk and a few from Vladimir Guerrero.
Hernandez in a 1-1 count now, drives that one past the third base line.
And if Strop can't get out of it, this is basically the it for the Reds. Iglesias and Lorenzen burned earlier in the game.
The Reds hoping it doesn't have to come to that as that pitch is inside, 2-2 count. And the Blue Jays are, in fact, now on their final strike. Teoscar trying to keep them alive here. Here's the pitch. That one swung and missed on. Strop finishes things off here in Game 1 of a 3-game set between the Reds and the Jays that the Reds take by a score of 4-1.
Close game, comes right down to the end. The Reds dominating throughout the game, but the story has got to be the runners left on base. And for the Blue Jays, what more fitting way to have it come to an end than to strand the bases loaded once again? That being the 3rd time tonight they stranded the bases loaded, in addition to stranding 5 other runners scattered across the other innings. It just came down to the fact that the Reds strung together 3 runs in the 6th, and the Jays weren't able to string together many runs at all when they had those runners on base.
Absolutely. You know, the Blue Jays, that pretty much is the story of the game for the Blue Jays. A lot of runners left on and not being able to capitalize on their on-base when the runners were able to get on base. But Anthony Desclafani, a very nice outing for him. Now 4 walks, but 7 strikeouts and 0 earned in 6 innings. That's exactly what you want from your starter.
Yeah, the 4 walks could be a sign of danger if he doesn't get his command under control later as the season develops. But the 7 strikeouts, a lot of those ones, he had the batters completely fooled, looking really good in his 6 scoreless innings of work tonight.
And Trent Thornton takes the loss in this one, going 5 1/3 with 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, but allows 2 runs and a walk. Now that big Joey Votto 2-run homer certainly didn't help things for him. That one was off Shinya Yamaguchi, but 1 run attributed to Thornton. And I think that also another story of the game is the Reds being able to, get a lot of home runs, right? I mean, with all their runs being scored off of the deep ball, and possibly a sign of luck. But then you look at it and you're like, well, all their home runs came from their best power hitters, Votto, Moustakas, and Aquino.
And the Jays managed to neutralize Eugenio Suarez. That's the one name you didn't mention. He went 0 for 4 tonight. And despite that, there was still all sorts of power in the Reds lineup. So a very offensively heavy team. And we've seen that so far this season as they advance to 3-1 through 4 games. And
the Blue Jays get their first loss of the season handed to them at the hands of the Reds. But they will have 2 more games against Cincinnati here tomorrow and on Wednesday, so be sure to tune in on the Virtual Jays Network for those. We'll be back tomorrow. Mahle takes on Hyun-Jin Ryu, another 7:07 p.m. Eastern start time, and the second of 3 between the Cincinnati Reds and the Toronto Blue Jays. For Jackson Farough and Drew Frank, thank you so much for joining us today on the Virtual Jays Network, where the Blue Jays take a 4-1 loss, but we'll see you tomorrow. Everyone, have a great evening.